give me a sound check.
We can hear you.
Okay. No, but yeah, I gotta just make sure the recording's off. Guys, if you're joining us from Twitter, if you're joining us from Facebook, if you're joining us from the app, super happy, guys. I am just absolutely ecstatic about today because there's two people here, and there's a third person, which we'll talk about, who have really impacted my life, my family's life. It sounds silly, but it's an amazing community and an amazing, absolutely amazing experience that I have had the pleasure and of going to now for 2 years, and this will be my third year. And I'm so happy to have the organizers of the Low Carb Cruise here. Welcome to the Low Carb MD podcast. We are here with two guests, and we're missing the third one in action, but we'll certainly give her some credit. We have Debbie Hubbs and we have Coach Michelle Hall who are here. And I just want to take a second to thank them before we get started. They set up something that has been going on for more than a decade called the Low Carb Cruise. And if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what it is, go out right now to low carb. It's lowcarbcruise.com, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And come vacation with us. Bring that person who's in your life who is ready to make a change and bring them with you. If you have a family member who you've been, wanting to be exposed to information and a great environment, or such a supportive environment, and learn about sort of low carb as you vacation and see the Caribbean, I mean, this is something that I have to say you have to come to. And if you're if you're on your journey and you're starting and you're looking for a community, maybe you're by yourself and you have no community to help you with your sort of journey, you want to branch out and meet people, meet coaches, meet doctors. There's an amazing speaker lineup, and you have access to all of these amazing people on this cruise and a supportive community. Come. Just come. I cannot recommend it enough. They don't pay me. Do you guys pay me? I don't think you guys pay me. You don't pay me. I'm not paid to say this. I'm saying it because it's something that me and my family have done now for, this will be the third year, and I cannot recommend it enough. So with that said, we'll get started. Michelle, Debbie, thank you so much for coming on the Low Carb MD podcast today. I know Brian is so upset. He was a little bit busy, not able to make it today. So you get to deal with the unpopular the unpopular host. But guys, thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure to be here, Troy, and we appreciate you asking us and helping us spread the good word about not only our health journeys through low carb over the last many years, but the low carb cruise. And we've been doing this. I've been doing this since 2009, so it's 16 years going. It's been an incredible experience.
So before we get started, can I just tell people about the two cruises that I've been on before? First of all, the first cruise I did, the speakers, both times, the speakers were amazing. I mean, you had Tony Hampton, who's coming back, Maria Emmerichs, who's coming back, the crazy bald guy, Dr. Tro, who'll be there, and the lectures were so good. Annette Bosworth was there last year. It was, and the coaches, I mean, Coach Winkler, Coach Hall, Coach Bronson, Natalie Grasso, all these amazing, amazing speakers, and just an amazing community. And the first year, we did another part of the Caribbean, and I came with my wife, and my wife was also so moved, she just felt that warm energy that was there. We brought our kids to Alaska last year, and this year we're so excited to travel the rest of the Caribbean, the other half of the Caribbean. And it was amazing because you got to, go on excursions and see people on the beach, and there was no judgment, and it was all, sort of collaborative, supportive. And then we got together, what seemed like as a big old family, every night, enjoyed tons of steaks, tons of good proteins. And, it was such a great experience. So I just want to say, and again, I'm going to say it, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to know, Debbie, going back to 2009, what made you start this, and what made you keep doing it? I mean, this is so I want to hear about how it all started and what made you keep doing this, and then maybe how you, if you want to mix in there, how you got started with your own health journey.
Well, the low carb cruise really started because a couple of good girlfriends we were online trying to lose weight together and giving each other support and that kind of thing. And I'd been basically doing Atkins low carb since 1972 when I had my first baby. And we thought, you know what? We all love to cruise. We ought to include this as a group. So we made it happen. We had some other people that said, hey, I can help you get speakers. And so our first cruise was, we only had about 30 people. Um, did it on another cruise line that we shall leave unnamed. Not really. We started out on Carnival, and we were in one of their rooms, and we had a good time. We had a truly good time.
I've heard some
And then
horror
it's
stories about
just
Carnival.
grown, every year.
I've heard some horror stories about Carnival, but you've been with Royal Caribbean now for a number of years, right? Is
Yeah,
that
probably 10 years with
yeah?
with Royal Caribbean. They are an excellent cruise line who work hard with us to make sure that we are happy. They have the conference rooms that we need primarily, and they don't nickel and dime us to death. And they are just a really good cruise line. We really enjoy them.
I've loved every ship we've been on, and the conference rooms have been great, and we've been treated like a VIP each time. So, can you go back and just talk, Debbie, about your own struggles? You mentioned a little bit you were looking for this community, and now you provide that community. Can you give me an idea of your, struggles? I know you've been public, you've talked about it before, so you're comfortable talking about it here. Why is metabolic health important to you? Why is this low carb, lifestyle important to you? And maybe start at how you got started with this lifestyle and what it means to you now.
Um, I learned way back when I first started having the first of our 9 children that I put on the weight after my babies. And I learned right away. Dr. Atkins was becoming very popular at that time. And I learned through trial and error that eating low carb was the way that was going to help me get my baby weight off and to be able to feel healthy. And and then getting together with girlfriends and friends in the community and helping each other, providing that support was so much. But as I had each one of my babies, I learned that I can stay healthy during my pregnancies, and I can continue to be healthy and drop that baby weight, because I seem to gain 40 or 50 pounds with each child. And it's hard to get it off, as you get older and older. But I have been very blessed with good health, but I attribute it to the last 40, 50 years of basically eating low carb. Have I always been at an ideal weight? No, but I have been very healthy. I'll be 73 years old in January, and I'm on no medication whatsoever. I stay very healthy. I only go to the doctor when I break my feet, and I'm a klutz. Yeah, I broke my feet a few times, but
That was my first cruise.
yeah, I've been on a few cruises with my broken feet. But I am grateful for learning about this way of eating early on that has helped me be healthy.
Have you, a lot of times we talk about our successes and I have struggled. Like it's even though I keep low carb, it's still a struggle for me. Every day is a fight, but I heard an amazing fact from you at the cruise in Alaska, which was amazing, absolutely beautiful, was you've been on over 100 scuba dives. Was that correct? You know,
Yes, I got my 100th dive in on my 72nd birthday last January. And this coming January, I'm going to dive Belize and do the big blue hole there. So I'm quite excited about that.
So like this lifestyle means for you, like just being able to do the things as you age and enjoy your kids and grandkids, and I mean it means a lot. And it sounds like you're even, you know, giving back, like you're creating. I can't even imagine how many people you've touched, like probably thousands of people's lives you've touched, you know, just by doing this and getting people together. You know,
I guess I can take a little bit of credit for being an organizer, but the people that we have learned from are all the coaches, the nutritionists, the doctors, everybody that have given up a week of their life to come and cruise with us for a week, you know, and we so appreciate you and for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us. Yes, I'm a good organizer, but I couldn't do it without all of you people.
yeah, who are you looking most forward to this year? You know, I know Coach Bronson's coming back. Oh yeah, Coach Hall for sure. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Uh,
I want, Michelle has been totally responsible this year, mostly for the speakers that are going to be coming with us in May. And I'd love for her to share a little bit about them because we've got some new people. And I want you to think about as she tells you who they are and what their specialty is. Imagine spending a week with these people and being able to, most of them are always open for you to come and talk to. I know you are, I know Brian is, and Dr. Boz was, you know, all of these people are so open that we're able to visit with them. And we have incredible land-based seminars going on, but you don't really get the one-on-one with them like you do, or the community for a whole week to deal with. So
yeah,
Michelle,
it
tell us
helps.
about who we have this year.
It helps when
So
you're trapped on a boat, right? It helps
Yeah,
when
that
you're,
is true.
it's literally the perfect place because they can't escape you. Like
Yeah.
my very first cruise, I was shocked when I would be wandering and all these like big names in the low carb space. I was a little bit starstruck because I'm like, oh my God, they're right there. And they smiled at me. Oh my God, Dr. Barry said hi to me. Like it was that type of an atmosphere. And then I realized, oh, they're just real people. Okay. I guess I don't have to be so scared of them. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's the perfect opportunity to learn, but then also rub elbows with people like you and Brian and Annette and Barry and the people who've been on the cruise before, and also create a whole new tribe within themselves. Like people will come in to do networking, but they end up with these friendships that last for years and years. You know, Jen Winkler and I, we've been in the same city for 10 years and we met in person once outside of the cruise. And then when we were stuck on a ship together for a whole week, like our friendship solidified because we realized how much we actually had in common with each other. So it's more than just, you know, the learning and the vacation, but you're gaining friendships that are going to be lifelong, which is a beautiful thing.
From all over the world.
Yeah.
The people we have met people from literally all
Everywhere.
over the world, every continent probably. Yeah.
And the Canadians are fun, eh?
so, you know, maybe Michelle, because and we're missing, you know, Kathy, who's in. I know she's huge on organizing with the, you know, this event, but it's you three basically putting a lot of effort. I know there's a lot of other volunteers, but you know, Michelle, maybe you could talk about how you got started with the cruise, and you can talk about your own health journey and what made you become a coach. I'd love to hear that. You know, I've certainly heard you talk about it last year a little bit, but I'd love for the listener to hear that.
So I actually attended my first low carb cruise in 2023, and it was the year that Debbie was on a scooter because she had just broken her foot. And it was, again, I was an attendee. I was just there to learn, and I fell in love with the entire concept of the cruise. And apparently I made a good impression on these ladies because they asked me shortly after we came back home if I wanted to join the committee. So it's been a life-changing opportunity for sure to do that. I've gotten to see so much more of the world, being a part of this organization, but also meet so many amazing people and have really good conversations about metabolic health and fitness and specialties that, especially with the group that we've got coming on this year. I really wanted to branch out and get some specialties into the crew so that people can hear, okay, this is what actually a low carb lifestyle can do for you and your health, even if you're facing these particular struggles, in your future. And so my journey started. I've struggled with weight my entire life. Basically, I was put on my first diet when I was 9. Food was that was my coping mechanism. Food was my friend. Food was my love. Food was everything. Whether I was happy or sad or excited or anxious, it didn't matter. Food was it for me. And it took a really, really long time for me to realize that. I had weight loss surgery in 2011, had an emergency surgery to reverse it in 2015 because I almost died. And I ballooned after that because I had the physical restriction having weight loss surgery, but I didn't deal with the actual issues that were causing me to depend on food for everything. So I lost my dad in 2019 to Lewy body dementia. He was only 67 years old, and he was a type 2 diabetic. He had other health issues. He was on a statin for a number of years. And the more I started to look at my own mortality, the more scared I got. And so then in 2020, here we are with the world, collapsing in around us. And I'm seeing people who look like me, who have similar issues as me, who are my age, who are dying. And I said, okay, this is not okay. I'm going to die if I end up contracting this thing that's going around right now. So third time was a charm for me for keto, and I stuck to it, and I've just carried on since. I've made pivots along the way, just depending on what my body needs, and I've had success. Just it was one of those things where I had to hit that rock bottom, which I finally did in 2020. And then it was actually Dr. Sivis I was watching something on him, a live that he was doing, and he was talking about strongholds and addiction and why we turn to food. And I just sat there and I bawled for an hour because he literally held the mirror in front of my face, and I had to say, oh, okay, so I'm eating this way and I'm feeling better and I'm looking better, but I'm not doing the stuff that I actually need to do to make sure that I get better. And so that was the big turning point for me was 2020. And here we are, 2025, almost 2026. Holy cow.
Yeah.
And just going strong.
I think there's just two things about your talk, that really opened my eyes. One, from last year, and I'm looking forward to the guests from this year. Like Christy Kesserling is like Dr. Christy Kesserling is so brilliant, so kind.
I found her through you guys.
Yeah, she is really awesome. So I can't wait to hear her talk. And bringing back Tony Hampton. I love Tony so much. He's so inspiring. I love him and his wife, and just great. And then everybody that we've seen over the past couple of that I've seen over the past. I love Coach Bronson, Natalie Grasso, yourselves. The speaker lineup is awesome. So I just want to commend you for that. I think a couple of things that you've done is there's a big taboo in like the low carb space, right? Like we're cautious people, right? We're super cautious, but at the end of the day, like I see this every day in my clinic. You maybe see me talk about deprescribing and not we talk about the harms of statins, maybe where it may be inappropriate, like in the case of Lewy body dementia, you may not want to use it, but there's always a time to use meds. And I feel like the people who talk about these, it's like a huge taboo. And what I loved was a previous speaker that came on the cruise was Ben Bigman, and he wrote an op-ed saying, hey guys, maybe we should be thinking about microdosing GLP-1 medications. And I love the fact that, like, one of our tribe made us all think a little bit differently. And one of the things that I love about, your talks and what you've talked about and the speakers you bring is, I think that there's this, nobody here is a zealot, right? Nobody here is going to die, on, like, they're all open-minded. Yes, there's people, like me, that want to take everybody off drugs when and if possible, right? And then there's people who, but we use drugs, and we've talked about this before. We use drugs. And one of the things that I think you did for me was just, make it known that, like, we got to take this taboo out of this space, and I don't know, I just wanted to hear you talk about that maybe just a little bit, because I think it's an important topic. The listener, I think, would benefit from just hearing about that.
So I was very much of the camp of anti-GLP-1s. Peptides were just expensive water. Like, these things aren't going to do anything for you. And it's kind of funny because it happened in October of last year while I was back home visiting my stepmom and my brothers, and had gone out to see my dad, or visit with him at his grave. And something popped up on, I believe it was an email about GLP-1s, which I'm like, ugh, because I was so anti GLP-1s, and brain health. And okay, let me read this and see what it is. And it actually linked me to a research study about inflammation in the brain, and a study that was being done with semaglutide in particular, and helping people who are dealing with brain inflammation, that they're still having issues beyond diet, changing their diets, getting things as low inflammatory as possible, but still continuing to have issues. And I never in a million years would I have thought GLP-1s brain health. And then that led me into the rabbit hole of overall inflammation within our bodies, and the actual benefits that were being discovered with these particular peptides. So I decided, okay, you know what? Let me read a little more. I went from October through December reading things about it, had a conversation with my doctor, and I said, I think I want to try microdosing a GLP-1 just to see what it does for me. And he's like, okay, sounds like a great idea, because he was open to the fact of microdosing. Now, when I say microdosing, I'm not starting at the 0.25 that everybody starts at on the semaglutide. I was actually starting at a 0.06. Very, 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 very teeny tiny amount. And within 6 weeks of starting, I noticed my hip pain, my perimenopause hip is what I called it, was gone. It's something I've had since 2021. And then I started sleeping better. And then I started noticing additional inflammation was decreasing. And my mind was blown. So I realized that this is something that we can actually look into and potentially embrace for the benefit of other people, not just about weight loss, but all the other benefits that come along with it. And I was scared to death when I did my GLP-1 certification and made the announcement, because I had been so anti-GLP-1 that I basically had to say, guys, I screwed up. This is what I've learned. This is what I am doing myself. And I'm willing to have conversations with people and not shame you about it. The number of people who commented, who messaged me, who came up to me on the cruise this past year was mind-blowing, because they have either wanted to use it or they have been using it in secret, because they know the shame and the pushback that they would get if people found out they were cheating by using a GLP-1 or any other sort of peptide.
Yeah, see, you know what? I hate that. Like, nobody knows nobody knows what's right for anybody else, right? We know general principles, right? It may be a general principle, like lowest dose, lowest amount of time you need, right? And then get rid of it as soon as you can, right? But if it's like an antibiotic, like I stepped on a nail a year and a half ago and my foot was red and it hurt, and it was spreading. I took Levaquin. I would never recommend Levaquin to anybody, right? I would never, like, it would be the last line, but I had to take Levaquin, right?
You didn't want to lose your foot.
Yeah, I don't, it was, things were worsening. So like I saw the evidence. The evidence was, despite everything, my good health, whatever, that nail was not doing well for me. So it's like, but I think when it comes to weight, the conversation becomes a little bit more hard to be like just plain and pragmatic about it, because there's so much of this emotion and psychology. And if it was as simple as like, oh, you're doing everything and for years and you've addressed food addiction, your relationship to food, and your food quality is great, and oh, you're still struggling, well, let's consider this medication. Like, it's not rocket science. Or, oh, there may be this off-target benefit that could also help you. Like, look, I have published studies on taking people off. I want to take everybody off, right? But two things could be true. You could need something. I wanted to come off this Levaquin, right? I mean, but do you think like part of it is because just weight and getting help is such an emotional part of like eating and lifestyle? And do you think that like that's part of it, or do you think it's like the judgment from the community, like I don't know, like from the public, or what do you guys think?
With me, Dr. Troy, I've been doing the low carb cruise for 16 years. I have been overweight most of that time in my life. I have been eating low carb, healthy the whole time. I could not move my weight whatsoever. It would just not move. I'm 5'8". I stayed at about 188 to 198 for years, and I could not drop it. I decided to try the GLP-1. I would not tell a soul. Michelle didn't even know I was taking it for a long time, because there was that shame. Debbie from the low carb cruise is taking a GLP, oh my gosh. But I was able to finally, after all those years, use that little bit to help me drop down to 165. And I've been able to stay, within 5 pounds of 165 for the last year and a half. And I couldn't for years between there,
Yeah, I'm sure your balance is better. You feel probably better. And then you're like, maybe at some point you may be like, all right, it's time to come off, and then you come off. Like it's, I appreciate you guys both being open about it, because I think that takes a lot of courage, and I think
I have stressed for many years to our family, our community in the low carb cruise, that you need to find what works for you. And if you have to use something for a little while or for whatever, you need to find what works for you. You don't need to be dogmatic about it. You don't need to criticize somebody else. Oh, you're carnivore. Oh, you're just totally this. Oh, you're just totally that. People need to find what works for them.
Well, that's why I loved the cruise, because it just felt like an environment where people could be open, honest, supportive, and you had all sorts of flavors, and I met so many people who just who had been friends and made friends over the years, like you did, Michelle, with Coach Winkler, who gave a great talk last year also, and but just people who were like, I come because this is my community. I don't have I don't have anybody. So it was so nice to see, and I just wanted to commend you both again. It's just important to be like, take the shame, stigma, taboo out of it. Like, it is what it is. Like, even the best of us, Ben Bickman wrote an op-ed, saying, hey guys, consider this thing. And you can hold two truths. Like, I want the least amount of meds for as short as possible, get off meds I don't need, and still say, hey, let's see if this thing works for me. So I just I appreciate you guys. That's all. Appreciate you all. All right, well, give us some parting words. Give us some parting words, Michelle. Maybe some parting advice on how you coach and what you do, and then maybe some parting words on the low carb cruise.
So I wanted to cover real fast the newer names that we've got that are going to be on the cruise this year, because again, I wanted more specialties in. I wanted people to be able to feel comfortable. And again, being trapped on a ship with these people for a week, ask them questions about their, their family members, themselves, whatever. So we've got Dr. Kesslering, like you said, who is going to be talking about cancer and how low carb therapies can help with cancer treatment. We have Dr. Roberta Batista, who is actually from Brazil, and she is a cardiologist. And she is just the back and forth that we have with her right now. I cannot wait to meet her and to hear from her, because she's so unbelievably engaging, and she's going to be great for our guests. Dr. Michael Hoffman, who is a neurologist. We've gotten him to agree to come and speak on the cruise, and I'm really excited. Again, anything brain health is very, very important to me because of my history with my dad, and then also the Alzheimer's that we've got in my mom's family. And then Dr. Jimmy Bowen, who is an orthopedic surgeon. He was the chief of medical for the Navy for a number of years, and he is a longevity specialist. So he's going to go into all things, not only diet and lifestyle, but other things that we can help to improve longevity and make our lives something that's, we're not just existing, we are actually living. We are Debbie, scuba diving when we are 73 years old. So, but that's, it's the community aspect of it, like you said, and I said before, is such a huge part of it. And just having the benefit of being surrounded by these amazing minds and learning things that you may not have heard anywhere else before is worth it. And plus you get to go on a vacation. Hello. I mean, we don't get to go love on sloths this year in Honduras, but we get to go do a lot of other fun stuff. So it'll be an amazing time, and it's just good for everybody, and everybody leaves happy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do me a quick favor, just because the listener may not know, where this ship is docking? Where are the ports that we're going to be docking? Because
we're going to
some
be,
of them were cool.
Yeah, we're going to be on the Symphony of the Seas, which is an Oasis class ship, which is one of my favorites. It is a wow factor. When you walk onto that ship, it just goes, whoa. And even though it'll have thousands of people on it, it doesn't seem like it, because it's got all these wonderful neighborhoods. And we're going to be docking at some of our favorite Western Caribbean destinations. One, Roatan, Honduras, which is my very favorite place to dive. It is a favorite there, and it has so many fun things to see. If you're into it, they have an iguana farm there that is, I enjoy that so much. They're not letting us hold the sloths
We can't hold the sloths anymore.
But it's a lot of fun. And then we're going to be in Puerto Costa Maya, which is another fun, just right off the ship there. You don't even have to go very far to just have some really fun shops, places to be on the beach, and just a whole lot of fun. Great guacamole, really, really good things like that. And then
we went to the Seven Colors Lagoon when we were there in 23, and that was just life-changing.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Yeah, so fun. And then Cozumel, the favorite Cozumel. There are so many things to do there. So you've got 3 normal Western Caribbean stops, which a lot of people that have been on the low carb cruise have been there many times, but they're a favorite. And this Symphony of the Seas is a favorite. And we just we cannot say enough about it. We're going to be sailing May 31st through June 7th, which is a Sunday to a Sunday. We're going to be sailing out of Galveston, Texas. And we have the low carb cruise has tried to make it very easy for everybody to get to where we need to be.
Oh, that's one thing it is. It's easy.
Yeah, we have a group hotel. Yeah, we have a group hotel set up for you. We will provide transportation. We have motor coaches that will load us all onto there. And it is so much fun to load up these big, huge buses full of low carb people and then head on out. It is just a lot of fun doing that.
There's definitely purse bacon in Coach. I know that for
Purse
sure.
bacon.
There's definitely purse bacon.
Lots
if
of purse
anybody needs.
bacon.
Yeah.
Can I
yeah.
tell you one thing? That not only was it easy, you are a VIP, first on, first off the ship. I mean, they treated us so well on that ship. I know some of my patients and some of the listeners. They talk about these luxury cruise. It felt like a up class luxury cruise line. It was just fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. Michelle, thank you. Debbie, thank you. And we have to say thank you to Kathy also, who's not here with us. But thank you for doing what you do. I can't wait to go. Brian is upset. He's missing this year. He had something come up, but he's so upset. But we're appreciative. And guys, if you're listening, if you're a listener and you want to come hang out for a week, come hang out for a week. This is your chance. Great people, great food. And just great.
You don't have to make your bed
vacation.
for a week.
Yeah, it's great. Love it. And I'll put everything in the show notes so that everybody can access it.
And
Guys, thank
Debbie's
you.
got information about group pricing as well.
Really cool thing about booking with a group is that we have refundable deposits, and our prices are almost always a lot cheaper than if you booked on your own. Usually when you book on your own, they are non-refundable pricing, and our group pricing does go away January 31st. And
So they gotta go
so
get it now.
yeah, so it's pretty important to try to book as soon as you possibly can. And you can still book up until we sail, but it's to your advantage to go ahead and book as soon as you can. And final payments are always due 90 days before we sail. So those come up on March 2nd, but you can book anytime that. But it's an advantage to book with a group for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put everything in the show notes so they can access it. And thank you guys for coming on a Saturday morning. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tro.
We appreciate you.